All right. Thank you all for being here. We're taking a minute to get set up. Our facilitator, Sophie, is going to be here in just a moment. So thanks for being here, and we'll just hang on while she's getting ready.
Thanks, Susan. We'll just give folks a minute to trickle in. It's always tech issues with online things, so I'll be on camera to welcome everyone face to
Thank
face in
you.
just a moment. But yeah, we're going to let folks trickle in for just a moment. We could go to the next slide, please. Awesome. So while we're waiting for folks to trickle in and join the meeting, you'll notice all attendees are here on mute. If you need to enable closed captioning, you can click the More button on the Zoom toolbar at the bottom of your screen, and then you can click Show Captions. To submit comments and questions throughout the meeting as we go, you can use the Q&A button. So that'll be on the bottom Zoom toolbar as well. You can type your questions as you go. And then we do have staff here monitoring the chat for any questions and comments. And so we'll answer those throughout the meeting using the Q&A feature. Then if you're joining by phone, as well, folks can participate during the question and answer session by pressing *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. So we'll just give folks one more minute to trickle in, and then we'll go ahead and formally get started. If you have any tech questions as well, you can use the Q&A box to let us know, and we'll do our best to help you from afar. And we'll get started at around 6:05. All right. Well, I will hopefully get my camera on in just a moment, but I'll go ahead and kick us off. Again, if you have any technical questions, please drop them in the question and answer box, and we will do our best to help you through that. But if we can head to the next slide, Zach, I'll introduce what we're going to be chatting about tonight. So thanks to everyone for being here tonight. We really appreciate you taking some time out of this sunny evening to join us and learn a little bit more about the Greater Maple Valley Cedar River Sub-Area Plan. The primary purpose of our meeting tonight is to give you a little bit of an orientation to the draft sub-area plan. So at this time, we are seeking public comments through email and through our website, which we will drop in the chat. We'll use this meeting to walk you through what is the sub-area plan, overview the planning process that we're using, provide a summary of the plan contents, and then we'll definitely save some time for Q&A as well to make sure folks can ask some questions and learn a little bit more from our staff members. And then we'll talk you through some next steps to provide feedback more formally online. And then later this year as well, we will seek public comment on another draft of the plan. And we plan to organize another little bit more interactive meeting for that version of the plan as well. So tonight is more of an informational session, and we'll have lots of other opportunities for folks to get involved and provide feedback as well. Awesome. And then I'll introduce myself quickly. My name is Sophie Muja. Again, hoping to be on camera in just a minute and appreciate everyone's patience. And I support the King County Planning Team in community engagement and community outreach. And I'm going to turn it over to Susan to lead some staff introductions.
Thank you, Sophie. And Zach, if you want, you can bounce around to different cameras. I Thank you again for being here. My name is Susan McLean. I'm one of the planners with the Department of Local Services who's working on this project from King County. This project is truly a team effort supported by people from departments from all over King County. So tonight we're fortunate to be joined by staff from several King County departments, and they're here to answer questions later in the meeting. So we'll let them unmute and introduce themselves, starting with Michael Murphy.
Hi, everybody. That's me, Michael Murphy, or Murph. I work in the Department of Natural Resources and Parks in what's called our Water and Land Resources Division. I work on land conservation policy and programs, sort of broadly, and I'm also the department's liaison for comp planning work. Really happy to be here. Happy to see some familiar names on the list of attendees. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Murph. How about you, Kelly?
Hi, everyone. My name is Kelly Ning. I am from the King County Department of Local Services in the Roads Division. So I'm the supervising transportation planner. I have two planners in my team. I'm also the liaison for any comp plan work. So yeah, looking forward to tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Ty.
Good evening. I hope you can all hear me. I got a weird notice here. Anyhow, Ty Peterson, I'm here this evening on behalf of the permitting division of the Department of Local Services.
Thank you, Ty. Melissa.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Aguilar. I am with King County's Department of Community and Human Services in the Housing and Community Development Division. I'm a housing policy analyst, and I serve as also the liaison for comp planning activities for DCHS.
Thank you, Melissa. Laura.
Good evening. I am Laura Thomas. I am the King County Long Range Planning Manager. So I get to work with the code writers, subarea planners, comp planners, and do some work in annexation and school district stuff items as well. So thank you for being here.
Thank all of you from King County. So we'll move on to the next slide. Zach, let me know if I'm not seeing it. We're going to try to go through these slides fairly quickly because we want to get to the Q&A. And as Sophie said, we're going to be providing a broad orientation. But for folks who know, I wanted to provide a little bit of an orientation about the geography of this planning area. This on the screen is a map of the community service areas in King County. King County organizes services to unincorporated or people who live outside of cities by geographies that are called community service areas. And those are shown in the colors here on this map. The purple shape is the Greater Maple Valley Cedar River Community Service Area. And that geography is the same as the sub-area plan or the sub-area. So you'll see community service area labeled on maps, and in the report, you'll read the word sub-area or community service area, and they're the same geography. Next slide, please. This is a little bit of a close-up of the Greater Maple Valley Cedar River Community Service Area or our planning sub-area. It's actually quite large. It's over 220,000 acres. Most 83% of the land is allocated for long-term forest and forestry uses. So you can see kind of a lighter color of green on the right side of the map, which is on the east. That goes all the way up to the crest of the Cascades. The watershed, the sub area includes 4 watersheds, but notably the Cedar and the Duwamish watershed. Local tribes have deep connections to this area. There's a history of mining and logging history in terms of background. Sophie, did you want to provide a little a poll at this time or after the next
Yes,
couple of
yeah.
slides?
Thanks, Susan. So in just a moment, everyone who's attending should see a poll pop up on your screen, and we'd love to learn a little bit more about your relation to the Greater Maple Valley Cedar River sub area. So in just a moment, that should pop up on your screen, and you can select the option or options that are true to you. We'll give you all just a moment to fill that out. Let's see, I don't know if folks can see the results, so I'll share out a little bit. Looks like we've got about 70% of attendees live in the sub area. We've got a couple of folks who come to the sub area just to visit or play, enjoy outdoors, and then a couple of folks as well who live near the sub area. So awesome. We'll give it just a few more seconds if you haven't gotten your answer in and want to submit an answer to the poll. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everyone again for being here, and it's great to learn a little bit more about who's attending with us tonight. Zach, I think we can go ahead and move on and on to our next slide.
Thank you. So Zach, next slide, please. So you'll see in the report or in the plan document a lot of maps at this scale. This is kind of a zoomed in look at the Greater Maple Valley Cedar River area. It's the westernmost portion of the sub area. So a lot of maps are presented here because that's where most of the area's 19,000 people live. Most of the this landscape in the western portion, the downland, lower land areas, rural, large residential lots, 5 or 10 acres, small farms, a few mineral sites, a few small business clusters, a lot of open spaces. And you can see on the map, just to orient yourself, on the upper left, which is the northwest, is the city of Renton, and then west on your left would be Kenton, Covington, Maple Valley, and then to the south, to the bottom of the map, is Black Diamond. And then you can also see neighborhood areas within the Greater Maple Valley Cedar River, including areas like Ravensdale and Hobart. And there are so many other unique community areas in the sub area. Next slide, please. So we thought we would present this slide, which just shows a little bit about the population of Greater Maple Valley Cedar River. We won't spend a lot of time on it, but compared to King County as a whole, residents of Greater Maple Valley Cedar River are slightly older, slightly less racially and ethnically diverse, and have a higher household income relative to King County as a whole. And you can see you can kind of go back over this, and this is also in the plan document and get a little bit more information about demographics. Next slide, please.
Thanks, Susan. I'll go ahead and jump back in here. So tonight we're going to be using a tool called Mentimeter to ask you all some questions and learn a little bit more from you. We have a warm-up question here. What is your favorite place to visit in the sub area? So the way that you access and participate with this tool is either by scanning the QR code on the right side of the screen with a device with a camera, or you can also type it in on your computer or on your phone with that code. So you can either visit menti.com and type in the code, or you can scan that QR code. And we'll give folks a second to get into that system to participate. And then we'll switch over so we can see live some of the results that are coming in. So this is kind of a warm-up question to get folks into that tool. Awesome. So we see a couple answers coming in here. Again, you can use that QR code on the right or visit menti.com and type in the code. The code is 53481300. And we've got some answers: Cedar River, Renton Lions Youth Camp, Goose Creek Trail and Park, Taylor Mountain and Danville Natural Area with horses, Lake Sammamish State Park, Cougar Mountain, the Cedar River Regional Trail. Another answer for Renton Lions Youth Camp, Tiger Mountain, Cedar River Trail. So seems like folks are really enjoying the outdoor spaces, natural spaces, places you can take a horse, which is awesome. We'll give folks just another minute to add answers. I see Black Diamond open space. And if you are having trouble accessing the Menti, feel free to use the Q&A function, and we will do our best to help you get into that tool on the back end. Awesome. I've got Henry's Ridge open space, and I'll give folks about 20 more seconds to get answers in here. And we will use this tool a couple times tonight. So this was, like I said, our warm-up question to make sure everyone's able to access it. And we'll come back to it if you want to keep that tab open, or it should refresh if you open it up on your phone later. Thanks, Zach. I think we can go back to the slides. All
right, Zach, next slide. Thank you. Those are great responses. Thank you for sharing that. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about what is in the plan. And I'm actually going to turn the next few slides over to Laura Thomas, who's the long-range planning manager for King County Department of Local Services. She will talk about the comprehensive plan context for the sub-area. Next slide, please.
Good evening again. Let's talk about what a subarea plan is. A subarea plan is intended to be a long-range planning document that has policies in it. They look about 20 years out, and they're used by all of our departments by presenting priorities and aspirations of the community. Subarea plans also inform county decisions like zoning, departmental programs, long-range plans for services. It helps provide support for future grants. You might ask, who approves these plans? That would be your King County Council along with your executive, and they're responsible when we complete this to go through a public process and review it and approve it. Subarea plans do have what we call required policies and elements that go into them, and we'll talk about those a little bit later. Next slide, please. What doesn't the subarea plan include? There's always something that we can't do. It doesn't approve specific projects. It doesn't change zoning automatically. It does not require new development or growth. And it does not urbanize our rural areas. This preliminary subarea plan is not about adding growth. It's about bringing in the community into the process. Next slide, please. The comprehensive plan, you might ask, how are they related? Our subarea plans are incorporated into our comprehensive plan, and they are intended to guide growth and development over a 20-year period. And it really looks at several different things, including land use, housing, parks and recreation, economic development, transportation, and the environment. And it also helps the county guide investments in public services and facilities that are needed by our community and our residents. Next slide. Let's talk a little bit about the planning framework. You might have seen this particular image before, or maybe you haven't. Within the state of Washington, we work under the Growth Management Act, and the policies that we create, whether it's in our countywide planning policies, our comp plan, or a subarea plan, have to be consistent with the Growth Management Act. It's an overarching set of laws and guides that plan for growth within the state. And this plan is kind of further refines, and it provides a multi-county level and a countywide level of policies. And the plan has to be consistent with the GMA, with PSRC Vision 25, our countywide planning policies, but most importantly, it has to be consistent with our comprehensive plan that was adopted in 2024. Susan, you're up next.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Here on the screen is a little graphic of the planning process. Beginning on the left in the dark blue, King County staff started this project in late 2024. And in the light blue box, second from the left, we published the first draft of this first draft of the preliminary plan on April 15th. We're asking for your comments by May 18th. A second draft of the plan will be published later this year. We'll ask for more public comments at that time. We'll also publish a few other documents. And then throughout 2027, the King County Council will be looking at the subarea plan and related documents and accepting public testimony, eventually making final decisions. Next slide, please, Zach. And Zach, I don't know if you are, I don't know who is on the screen. I'm just letting you know. But so far, we've held a total of 6 in-person open house style events. Plus, we've had interviews, conversations with groups and individuals throughout the sub area. We've talked with hundreds of people. We have received literally thousands of comments. And Sophie, were you going to add more information here?
Yeah. Thanks, Susan. Just want to emphasize to folks as well that we're really, interested in hearing everyone's feedback and voices, big or small. We're really excited about speaking with youth. If there are any kids in your life, if you have, older parents who you support or other folks who you're connected with and think that they might be interested in helping shape the future of the sub area, we would love to hear from them. So we're really looking to hear from a wide range of voices, and we're doing using lots of different strategies to reach folks. So like Susan said, one-on-one conversations, virtual opportunities to connect like this, in-person drop-in sessions, in-person public meetings, and at the end we will share our emails as well. So we're always available via email to chat about the plan if you have questions, comments, or just want to share a little bit more about your experience living in the sub area. Thanks, Susan.
Thanks, Sophie. Next slide. Oh, no. Yes, thank you. A key component of community engagement and the work that we do within the plan in terms of plan content is reaching people who are and have been historically less involved in government processes. So in King County, equity and social justice are core values, and that includes making sure everybody has opportunities to thrive throughout King County. So for each sub area project, including this one, we want to make sure the work considers outcomes and impacts of planning that are equitably shared by different people. And also considering impacts to future generations. And also how our processes and policy outcomes and content of the plan can create meaningful ways for people to have a voice, people of different backgrounds, ages, incomes, life experiences, cultures, and that kind of thing. Next slide, please. All right, so for the next few slides, I'm just going to provide a very high-level overview of the plan contents. We'll go fast, in that way we can get to the questions and answers. So next slide, please. So we do want to hear from you, and later on, Sophie's going to show you how to provide comments, but just in terms of prompts to get you thinking as we walk through the contents of the plan, here are a couple of questions. Does the plan reflect your needs and priorities, and what ideas or suggestions would you have? Feel free to drop questions or comments in the Q&A box as we go along, and then we'll get right on to the questions and answers. All right. So I want to outline for you first the contents of the plan document, and the words on this slide in blue are the plan chapters. The contents of sub-area plans are required by county codes and the county comprehensive plan. So we're going to sweep through those chapters in blue and show you what we've heard so far at a very high level. Next slide, please. So the plan, as each subarea plan does, will present a vision that represents the community's vision for the subarea, and that must be consistent with the King County Comprehensive Plan. So throughout the past 1.5 years, we've asked members of the community about their vision for Greater Maple Valley Cedar River. So this is the draft vision statement that is inside the draft plan. It's meant to capture what we've heard. So we'll be interested in hearing your comments about the draft vision statement. Sophie?
Yeah, thanks, Susan. So we are going to go back to using that Mentimeter tool that we used before. And I also want to note, I see some questions coming in the Q&A, which is great. We'll have a pause shortly to address some of those early questions. So as a reminder for folks, you can visit menti.com and type in 53481300. Or you can also scan the QR code. You may also still have that tab or window open. So our question for you here, we just shared kind of the vision statement that we have in the plan so far, but if you could use one word to express your vision for the sub area, what word would you use? All right, we've got some words coming through, and the answers that you provide will show up in a word cloud. So if you agree with any of the things that are up on the screen, if you type in that same word, it'll make that one a little bit bigger, and we can kind of get a sense of if multiple folks are thinking the same thing. So we see rural, I see walkable, access, natural, beautiful, and peaceful. Trees. I can see rural is quite a bit bigger than the rest, which tells us that a couple folks have answered that. I'll give it just another minute. I see protect the rural environment. I see conservation and natural, quiet. Natural is and access are getting a little bit bigger as well, so we can tell folks are particularly interested in those. Wildlife, you can provide more than one answer as well if something speaks to you or you think of another one. We'll give it just another minute here. Got rural, access, and natural still kind of sticking out as the big ones. Peaceful is coming up as well. Yeah, this is great. We've got a couple more coming in. Natural, got a couple answers for natural now. Awesome. So feels like we can kind of get a sense of what folks have as priority. And you'll remember from the slide we previously shared, the draft vision statement that we have now talks about how the community cherishes the rural character and open spaces, protects forests, rivers, and wildlife, and fosters a welcoming environment. So I'm definitely seeing, some of those themes reflected in these responses as well, which is awesome. Got night sky that just came through, trail access for horses. These are great. Feel free to keep dropping answers in there if you think of anything, but we will go ahead and shift to our next slide. And before we speak to it fully, I do just want to bring in a couple of questions that we received kind of early in the Q&A. So Susan, I'll throw this one to you. We did have a question, where can we go to have more detailed and lengthy conversations about these areas? So how can people, speak with King County staff more one-to-one?
Yeah, thank you so much. I will, it's great to hear people having an interest in talking further. I wanted to let folks know last year we held some open houses on these specific chapter topics, and we had great response. There are 2 upcoming office hours where we'll have staff available to talk and, to talk and converse about different topics. I want to encourage folks also to reach out to me after this meeting, and I can put folks in touch with different King County staff as well. And then we will be organizing an in-person meeting later this year where we'll have an opportunity again to have further conversation. And Sophie, I think you're
Didn't
muted.
unmute myself. Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Susan. I was just saying I dropped in the chat some information straight from the website about how to join one of those upcoming drop-in sessions, either in person or virtual. And again, if those don't work for you as well, you could always email us and we'd be happy to connect with you. One more question as well before we move into some more of the plan content. Or more of a comment, just noting that some folks have requested a copy of the slides from this meeting. We will be posting the recording online and are happy to share a copy with folks directly as well. So just want to note that. And Zach, that's all I see for now. So I think we can go back to our content. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Sophie. So similar to the vision, each sub-area plan is intended to include some principles to help guide future decisions about the sub-area. These are based on community priorities that we heard. And again, they should be consistent with the King County Comprehensive Plan. We want to know if these are the right priorities for Greater Maple Valley Cedar River, and I'm just going to read them off. The first one that we heard is preserve the unique character and the integrity of the rural landscape and residential community. The second one, ensure all residents have access to opportunities and needed services in nearby cities. The third is safeguard rivers, lakes, forests, and wildlife habitats to maintain the area's natural beauty and environmental health for future generations. The next one, support access to parks, trails, and outdoor spaces for all, including cyclists, equestrians, and hikers, fostering a connected community and a quality of life. The next is encourage resilience by promoting sustainability and preparing for climate change and natural hazards. The next is protect existing housing options that meet the needs of all residents while respecting the area's rural character. And finally, protect the area's cultural, tribal, historical, archaeological landmarks as integral parts of its identity. So as you do think about submitting comments, we'll be interested in hearing what you think. And then I'm also turning this over to Sophie.
Yeah, thanks, Susan. So we will go ahead and use the Mentimeter tool one more time. And our question for you now is, did we miss anything? So there's a little summary on this slide of what we've included of those kind of shortened versions of the principles that Susan just shared. And again, our question for you is, what's missing? Is there one, that you would have come up with or you would have added to the plan that we didn't include? So again, you can go to menti.com and use the code 53481300 or scan the QR code on the screen. And I think we're good to switch over to that, Zach. So is there anything else that folks would like to see reflected in the guiding principles? And I know this one might require a little bit more thought. If they felt like the right principles to you as well, that's great. And feel free to drop that answer in as well. I'll give folks a few moments to respond. Let's see, we've got limit degradation from mining and industrial. We've got supporting road access to youth camping areas. We've got farming. Couple things trickling in. One says, do not allow urban serving facilities in the sub area. We've got protecting our wells, avoiding additional congestion in already congested areas, appreciation of diversity. These are great, thank you. We'll give folks another minute or so to respond. I'll give you all just about 20 more seconds. We've got no more landfills. And if things come to you as well, you can drop it in there even after we move on from this. So we've got enforce King County Code on mine reclamation. We have hold urban growth boundary. About 10 more seconds. Protecting precious open spaces and recreational areas that already exist. Maintain resources that are currently available for community member use. These are great. Yeah, thanks everyone for sharing. Zach, I think we can leave it open for folks and we can make sure we're collecting these all on the end. Develop a closure plan for the CHRLF, restore TDR program. So thank you for all these answers. We'll continue to collect them on the back end and make note of all of these. And I think we'll go back to our slides, but again, feel free to submit another one if it comes to you. Thank you. All
Yeah,
right,
these
and
are
I will, pass it back to
back to
Susan.
Susan. Thank you, Sophie. These are really wonderful responses. Thank you so much. So I'm going to kind of go really quickly through the subject matter topics, beginning with land use. The comprehensive plan says that the Greater Maple Valley Cedar River area is outside of the urban growth area, so it's not slated for a lot of growth in terms of residents or businesses. The It's intended to be rural with natural resource lands and open spaces. And here are some of the priorities we heard from the community to keep the area rural: support for existing low density residential, maintaining existing limits for commercial zoning and commercial uses, concern about industrial activities and code enforcement. Next slide, please. Housing and Human Services is one single chapter, and there are about 7,000 housing units or homes where 19,000 people live. People report rising housing costs, though lower than King County as a whole. We found that people obtain most of their services from cities. People are interested in maintaining that low density and slow growth. There's interest in older homeowners aging in place, concern about homes for next generation, especially affordable homes. And there's interest in some lower density housing types like accessory dwelling units that may be naturally more affordable. People mention the need for mental health resources for people can be a bit isolated, youth, seniors, and also transportation for vulnerable people with lower incomes or mobility challenged people. Those are concerns we heard around housing and human services. Next slide, please. Environmental protection is a major theme, including forests, water quality, climate resilience. Overall, people have a deep appreciation for the natural environment. And there is concern, as I think I saw reflected in some of the comments, about mining reclamation sites and also impacts from industrial uses in and around the sub area. Next slide, please. Parks, open space, cultural resources. The Greater Maple Valley Cedar River has almost 5,000 acres of King County parkland, in addition to other open spaces. There are numerous historic sites, also traditional tribal lands of Muckleshoot, Snoqualmie, Tulalip, and Puyallup. Here are some of the priorities we'd heard from members of the community around this theme: protecting natural areas, access to lakes and rivers, a lot of ideas about regional trail connections. There were very specific ideas that we tried to reflect in the plan around equestrian uses and equestrian center, active recreation like sports, gathering spaces, new ideas for parks and trails. And we know that there are a number of people who are working on historic recognition and cultural resources as well, and that's important to people in the community from what we've heard. Next slide, please. In terms of transportation, there are 155 miles of road in the sub area. There is limited public transportation. There's a DART Route 907 along Highway 169 between Black Diamond and Renton, I believe. And I think there's a 168 bus route also. But there is a desire for more transit options. There is concern about congestion on local roads, potentially spilling over from regional growth in the urban areas nearby. There's interest in road design for local roads for shoulders that might provide some options for horses or pedestrians in certain areas. People are concerned and would like to see safety improvements to Issaquah Hobart Road, SR 18, SR 169, and a few other roads as well. Next slide, please. In terms of services and utilities, I saw the word wells popping up, and so we do have rural levels of service in Greater Maple Valley, Cedar River. There was a lot of discussion about telecommunications and cell service. People reported having some concerns about emergency service response times and speeding enforcement on local roads. A lot of commentary, as I saw in the comments earlier today, about Cedar Hills landfill, which is outside of this sub area, but there are potential impacts that people reported inside the sub area. Next slide, please. Economic development. Most people who live in the sub area work somewhere else, we found. And because this is a rural area, the King County Comprehensive Plan doesn't plan for a lot of increased economic activities in terms of retail and that kind of thing. Economic activity is robust in terms of small farms, forest-related, mining-related, including aggregate mining. Several small commercial areas like Hobart, Ravensdale, Renton, Maple Valley Road, and other services too that serve people locally, truck repair, and there are a number of in-home businesses also. Next slide, please. In terms of implementation, this is how will the sub-area plan be implemented over time. So this chapter begins to talk about how the sub-area plan will influence King County decisions and potentially decisions by others as well. For one, there will be a few zoning and land use code amendments that are proposed in the next version of the next draft plan. Implementation also is intended to occur through the community needs list, which informs the county budget and is intended to reflect the priorities, the community priorities in the sub-area plan. The implementation chapter does present some draft performance measures, and the county will be taking a look at those performance measures and reporting on them periodically over the years. And then, as Laura mentioned earlier, the community priorities really do impact countywide plans and programs, and examples might include regional trails or road projects, coordination with other agencies, those kinds of things. Next slide.
Yeah, thanks, Susan.
Thank you,
We're
Sophie.
now going to take a pause and open it up to questions. So we've had a few kind of trickle in as we go, but the Q&A box is looking a little quiet right now. So if folks have anything they're wondering after seeing some of that information, questions about how to engage or provide longer feedback on the plan, anything that's coming to mind, feel free to drop it in, and we'll hold some time right now and wait to see if any folks have questions. And while folks are typing, I did want to note a community member shared that if folks are interested in the Cedar Hills landfill, there is a community meeting on that topic on May 21st at 6:30 p.m. at Maywood Middle School. So thank you for sharing that, and I'll drop that in the chat for everybody as well. And then let's see, I'll give folks a minute to drop questions in. I see a couple coming in. And Susan, I might need your help to redirect this one. This one says, does the plan include a list of FAAs?
Let's see. That's from Tim O'Brien. I'm trying to think of what the FAAs are. Tim, would you put in what FAAs refer to?
We'll give it a second as well to see if we can. That is future annexation areas.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Really there's one future annexation area within the sub area now, and that is Lake number 12. And so there is a map of Lake number 12, I think in Appendix A. And that is one of the remaining annexation areas for the city of Black Diamond.
Thank you, Susan. All right, I've got another one ready. And I think, Susan, this one, I'll start with you. This question is, in general, what are the proposed zoning and land use amendments?
Thank you. And that's from Joe Miles. Thank you for that. In general, at this point, and we're still looking at zoning and land use, this because the Greater Maple Valley Cedar River is not slated for growth. We're not adding any significant development potential or capacity for businesses or residents whatsoever. We will be taking a look at some existing development standards, and those are requirements of specific pieces of property. A lot of those were added over the past years, and they may no longer be needed. So we're going to be taking a look at those. We're also going to be taking a look at, there are several rural neighborhood commercial areas. They're basically areas of the sub area that have a little bit of commercial zoning. And in some cases, there are lots that have a split of zones. We'll be kind of cleaning some of that up. There are some rural neighborhood commercial areas that have historic commercial uses, but no longer. So we're going to be taking a look at the appropriate zoning for some of those. But so far, the zoning that we've found is fairly minimal. And if people have suggestions or areas where we should take a look, we're happy to take those suggestions.
Thanks, Susan. We had a note in the comment box as well, a response to the future annexation area discussion that says Lake 12 FAA does not fit the GMA. Or I'm assuming the Growth Management.
The Growth Management Act. Yeah, it is on that. I don't thank you, Tim, for that.
All right. Susan, I'm throwing them all at you, but our next question is a little more general. Are there going to be in-person meetings where we can find out more about the plan and our specific area of interest? So if you want to speak again, Susan, to what the upcoming opportunity would be.
Yeah. Robin, I would encourage you to attend one of the two office hours. We can actually organize more of those around specific topics as well if there's a lot of interest. But we are also planning an in-person meeting in the fall, and there will be an opportunity to talk a lot about all of the topics that we've heard as we refine the plan. But I want to encourage people to reach out to me, and if there's an interest in a specific topic, we can definitely around that particular topic area. I want to mention also that there is a community group in the area that is actively talking about different topics, and so that's another opportunity to have some discussion. We often attend meetings of the unincorporated area council, for example.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Susan. And just a reminder, so the date for our in-person drop-in office hours that are scheduled right now is April 30th, and that's from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Maple Valley Library. You can find more information on the Public Input Project website. We also have on May 5th, there is an online office hours session. So that is from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. And you can find the link on the public input site as well. And then a question as well for Susan. This one says, I learned that there is a move to reduce and eliminate P suffix. Can the sub-area plan help with this?
Yeah, thank you. That's from Tim O'Brien. Thank you. We are looking at all the P suffix conditions, and those again are requirements that are specific to individual properties throughout King County, basically, unincorporated King County. Those emerged from historic community plans. Some of them embody requirements of a specific property. So we are looking at all the P suffix conditions. Those are those property specific conditions to see if we need to keep those on the books, on the record to document an important agreement, or if they can be removed. And in some cases, we can remove them because what they said, those requirements, have since been superseded by new codes that the county has adopted over time. Also, I wanted to invite Todd to make any additional comment about those P suffix conditions, if he has anything to add.
No, I mean, I will add that there was considerable effort to reduce P-suffix conditions countywide in the 2024 comp plan and subsequent zoning code adoption, but it's an ongoing effort. Many of those P-suffixes were generated through decades of comprehensive planning and even pre-comprehensive planning, pre-GMA conditions. So, but yeah, I think there's an opportunity work with Susan. We are looking at those, and if there's an opportunity where they simply don't make sense or they're duplicative of existing regulations or something, I think we can put together a recommendation. But it does require a separate zoning action from King County.
Thanks, Ty and Susan. A couple more things from the Q&A. We do have a thanks for addressing specific trail connections in the draft. So no question there, but just a comment from a community member. And then I do want to note, Susan had mentioned the Greater Maple Valley Unincorporated Area Council, and thank you to Peter Rimbos who mentioned that in the Q&A as well. So if you would like to attend that meeting, they have regular monthly meetings. The next one is on Monday, May 4th from 7 to 9:30, and that is at the Maple Valley Fire Station across from King County Sheriff's Precinct number 3. And they're planning to discuss the sub-area plan. And Susan, can you remind me if you're planning to attend that one?
I know I believe that one I am attending virtually to answer questions. However, subsequent meetings, I'll be a more active participant as we have in the past. So this is one where I think the unincorporated area council members would like to have conversation. I'm there as a resource.
Yeah, so if folks are interested in attending that, Susan will be there from the county to collaborate with that group to answer some questions. All right, and Michael, I've got a question for you. What can be done to protect Druids Glen and the inclusive 367 plus acres of open space and wetlands?
Yeah, it's a good question. I can say that the county is aware that there is community interest in seeing parts of that property protected. I believe that some of my colleagues have reached out to the owners. All of the acquisitions we do are voluntary for conservation purposes. So we will try to protect some of the resources down there. But again, it's all voluntary acquisitions that we pursue. And I would be happy to talk more directly to whomever made that comment. I know it came in anonymously, but I'm at Michael Murphy at kingcounty.gov, michael.murphy at kingcounty.gov. If you want to reach out to me directly, I can speak a little more.
Thanks. Michael, would you want to drop your email in the chat to attendees as well?
Will do.
That would be great. Thank you. All right. I'm not seeing any more questions now, but I want to give folks another moment to drop some questions into the Q&A box. We'll give it a minute and then we'll spend just a few minutes kind of walking you through how to engage with the plan online and where you can find more information. So if something comes to you while we're looking at that, you can continue to drop it in the Q&A and we'll make sure to get it answered before we wrap up tonight. And I see Michael just put his email in the chat. Thanks so much, Michael.
I will also add that I can speak to whomever commented about the TDR program. I caught that on one of the Mentimeter. The TDR program is still active. I supervise the person who runs that program, and I'm happy to talk to whomever made that comment as well.
Thanks. And we did have kind of a logistics question, which I will address, which is how do we copy what's in the chat? There may be some Zoom permissions that don't allow it, but I'm happy to pull things for folks after the meeting. So if you reach out to any of us, happy to provide that, or I can also, if you let me know what you're looking for, try and paste it back in the Q&A and see if that works for you. Okay, got another question for Susan. Are there any in-person opportunities other than the Greater Maple Valley Unincorporated Area Council meeting to view the plan drafts or posters?
Yeah, I don't know if this is the same person, but we do have those 2 office hours coming up, and we will have an in-person meeting later on this year. And if folks are interested in having a smaller topic-specific conversation, happy to organize it. Last year we had 6 basically open house meetings. 5 of them were devoted to the chapters, specifically 2 chapters at a time. So at this point, we're happy to organize something, and we'll have an in-person meeting in the fall, and then these 2 office hours, and happy to do more if people need more.
Thanks, Susan, and thanks for that question. And I would encourage folks as well, if those opportunities don't work well for your schedule, to just reach out to Susan via email. And we can't always provide a specific in-person opportunity, but we'd certainly love to connect with you or find times to work. And we're open to feedback about different locations or timing that works well for future in-person opportunities. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And then, Susan, I saw you started to write an answer to this, but I will bring it to the group. Will the final P suffix conditions be in the next draft?
Thank you. We will have a draft set of amendments to the P suffix conditions in the next draft. I believe there are about 8 or so, 10 maybe P suffix conditions that apply in this area. There are several that we probably will analyze in conjunction with a future plan because there's significant overlap between geographies. We know that we would like to take a look at amending 5 or 6 of them, and but we are still kind of reviewing. And if people have any information about any of the P suffix conditions or any interest in them, I want to encourage you to message me at smclain, MCLAIN, at kingcounty.gov.
Thanks, Susan. Let's see. Looks like we've got a couple more folks sharing some information about other ways to stay involved in your community in the chat as well. And or in the Q&A, excuse me, and I can paste these into the chat for everyone. There was a correction from earlier. It sounds like the Cedar Hills landfill meeting is on Wednesday, May 20th, not the 21st. So if anyone was interested in that. And then it sounds like, let's see, there's a Cedar River Council meeting as well on April 28th at 6 p.m. on Zoom. And it looks like they're going to look at fish returns, Cedar River flood stories, survey results, and an overview of their planning efforts around I Heart Cedar River. So that was shared by a community member and is another way to get involved in your community. So I will drop those in the chat shortly just for folks to reference as well. Let me see if we've got anything else trickling in. All right, that's what I'm seeing for now. So while I put those in the chat, we're going to switch over to see just the public input side, and I'll walk you through how to interact and provide feedback on there. So Zach, if you want to switch us over to that screen, that would be great. And I'm going to copy a couple things real quick over into the chat for everyone. Perfect. Thanks, Zach. So you'll see here, this is what our public input site looks like. And you can access that by going to publicinput.com/Greater Maple Valley. And once you get to that site, right at the top, you will be able to see the information about the preliminary plan draft, which is what we were speaking about tonight. So as Susan shared, we're accepting public comment on this draft through May 18th. So the first way that you can interact with this is by reading the draft plan. So you can see under number 1, there's an option to click to view the preliminary draft plan and a couple of hints about how to navigate it best. So some of the maps look a little bit small in a PDF, so you should be able to zoom in, and there should be links in the table of contents to help you navigate. And Zach, if you could just pop over to show us what that plan looks like, that would be great. So this is what it will look like. You should be able to scroll through the full document here, see the table of contents, and you know, if you'd like to read through the whole thing, you're welcome. If you want to click around and see specific chapters as well, you can kind of pick and choose, and should be able to, yeah, scroll through it online. Perfect. And Zach, if you could go back to public input, thank you. You can also submit comments. Again, we're accepting comments through May 18th. So Zach, if you could click there and show folks what it looks like. We've got a form where we are accepting comments. So there's a couple different ways you can provide feedback on the plan. If you have, you know, just a couple of comments with something specific to a chapter, page number, you can fill out this form and let us know. You know, if you said, hey, on page 46, I feel like you're missing this piece and I'm hoping you can incorporate it. That would be a way you could use this form. We also have an option to upload files. If you'd like to annotate a version of the plan, you're able to do that. We have a space to add more general feedback. So if you have question or comment about something that's a little more broad, you can leave it there. And Zach, if you scroll back up to the top, please, you will see as well, we've got the sub-area planning email address listed there. So if you prefer to provide feedback via email or you have more detailed questions, you can reach us directly there. And if we could go back to public input. Thank you. Again, number 3 is attending the meeting tonight, so you all are already on top of that. But beyond that, I'll just do a reminder again for our upcoming drop-in office hours. So that first one again is on April 30th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. in person at the Maple Valley Library. And then that second drop-in staff office hours is on May 5th. And that one is online from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. If you head to the website, you can click on that link to join. I don't think it'll work quite yet because the meeting's not live, but you can click there to join and use the passcode listed there. All right, if we could head back to the slides, Zach, that would be great. And I do just want to note as well, Laura had dropped in the chat that she will be at the next Greater Maple Valley unincorporated area council meeting in person. All right, so this kind of just, yeah, go ahead, Susan.
Oh, thank you, Sophie. I wanted to mention that the office hours are going to be people who have a general knowledge of the sub area. So if you are interested in really drilling down on a particular area like parks or something like that, you can let me know. You can email me at smclain, MCLAIN at kingcounty.gov and let me know, and we can figure out a way to get your questions answered or have more discussion. So the office hours are more general staff.
Yeah, and I'll just reiterate that you know, you can email Susan at any time or email the planning inbox. And like we've been saying, we really want to hear from folks. And if it's, a really specific comment or question, that's great. And if it's something more general as well, we still want to hear from you. So our line of communication is open, and we really appreciate community feedback and interest and involvement. So again, on this next steps slide, this kind of reiterates what we've gone through, but has the link to visit the public input site, and I put that in the chat as well. Again, the preliminary draft is available for review through May 18th. So that's when the public comment period for that closes. After that, we will still be connecting with community members and talking about the sub-area planning work, but the formal comment period on this draft will close on May 18th. And then what are we going to do with all the feedback we receive? Planning staff will review all comments, and we will use feedback to help shape the next draft of the plan. So, if that's things down to the specific line number and page number in the plan, we'll take a look and see how we might be able to incorporate those things. Or if it's, more broad feedback about expanding our vision statement, we'll take all of that feedback into account and see how we can incorporate it into the plan. And then, as Susan said earlier, we'll have another formal opportunity for public comment on the next draft later this year with the public review draft. So at that time, we'll have an in-person meeting, and we'll have some additional opportunities to connect. Let's see. If there's any other questions you have, we still have the Q&A box open, and I've got just a couple of things in here that I wanted to share. Thank you to Peter, who shared some information about how to learn more about the Greater Maple Valley Unincorporated Area Council if you want to get involved or learn about their agendas or how to access the meetings. He had shared that, and I will paste it in the chat for everyone. Let's see. And then we had just a comment. Someone had noted that people here really treasure the natural environment, and it really means a lot, and that it's great to have the opportunity to comment and interact with staff tonight. So thank you for being here. And we'll give it just a couple more minutes. We do have a few more minutes on the meeting timer till 7:30, so open to additional questions, or yeah, we'll give folks a minute. Otherwise, we can wrap up. All right. Not seeing too much more come through. So thank you again to all of you for being here and being interested in learning about the plan, asking questions. All of your input and your questions really really help us to shape the plan and kind of understand what we've missed or any gaps in what we've been working on. So it's really great to have you all here. Again, here's the link to the website, or if you have any questions, that is Susan's email on the screen, and I will drop it in the chat one more time as well, so that folks have it. There we go. All right. Thanks for being here. Not seeing anything else come through. Oh, I've got one more question. Awesome. This one says, I wish more people could join this type of meeting because it's important. How can we get more people on next time? Thank you for that comment. Then I'll throw that to you, and then if I have anything to add as well, I'll think about it while you're sharing your answer. You're on mute, Susan.
Thank you. Yeah, we've had a lot of attendance. We have not done a virtual meeting before. We've had our attendance to the in-person meetings have been really good. We have over 6,000 people on our email listserv right now. So, and then we pushed out the message to local media. I saw there were articles, I believe, in the Covington News and another paper, and then social media. So we're not sure who wants to come to in-person or virtual, but it looks like a beautiful night like tonight. Wasn't the best night for a virtual meeting. On the other hand, I will say that a huge thank you to everybody who was here, great questions, and also thank you for all your comments and for your insights as well. It's obvious people care deeply about the Greater Maple Valley Cedar River area and have a lot of knowledge as well.
Yeah, thanks, Susan. And I'll just say as well, as we go through this process, we learn about what works well, and we also know, for some people, it is hard to get out to an in-person meeting. So, we're working to provide different opportunities and see what works well for the community. I will say as well, spread the word. If you have any friends who might be interested in learning about this or family members, please encourage them to get involved or submit a comment. We'd love to hear from folks. So always, word of mouth is a really strong tool as well. And we appreciate your support in helping us get the word out to folks in the community. All right. If any other questions, again, please email Susan. Otherwise, we will let you all go and hopefully enjoy the last few minutes of sunshine. So we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thank you again for being here, and feel free to reach out via email, and hope to see your comments on the document soon. Thank you. All right.